This is DVDFuture Audio Video Reviews. The film we'll be reviewing is The Karate Kid 2010. The film is directed by Harold Zwart, written by Christopher Murphy, screenplay, from a story by Robert Mark Kamen. The film is being distributed by Sony Pictures and is rated PG for bullying, martial arts action and violence, and some language. It's a shame, but remakes are typically inferior products to their predecessors. There are very few instances where a remake is better, and usually when that happens, said picture is more of a reimagining than a remake. This is why The Karate Kid is such a flat-out shock. The film isn't better than the 1984 original, starring Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita, but it appears to be trying harder than most, particularly some remakes from Sony Pictures. And, at times, the film is actually a little bit better. That said, The Karate Kid isn't flawless. In fact, it's fairly rough around the edges. Some scenes fall completely flat, while others feel disconnected or even incomplete. There are also a few holes in the narrative that never quite get filled, and the film falters when it tries too hard to copy the original. Also, Academy Award-nominated actress Taraji P. Henson, who plays Smith's mother in the film, can't seem to control the dynamic of her character, and she never quite fits in either. Even worse is James Horner's completely mundane score. It plays like a best-of compilation of his better Oscar-winning work, and while some of his new themes do work well, it simply doesn't hold a candle to Bill Conti's terrific score from all four original Karate Kid films, particularly The Karate Kid Part 2. Then there's the issue of the title. Make no mistake, in this film our young hero, played by Will Smith's young son, Jaden, is learning Kung Fu. I had heard from test screening reviews that the term Karate Kid was actually a slang term the bullies used against him. Sadly, that wasn't the case. Perhaps that scene didn't make it to the final film. But I understand the marketing purposes of keeping the original title. After all, keeping the popular brand name was probably more important than accuracy to what the product actually is. As you've probably already noticed, there are quite a few flaws in the film. Though, while many, these flaws are thankfully outweighed by the film's true strengths. Jackie Chan, who plays Smith's teacher and mentor, Mr. Han, finally gets to stretch his dramatic muscles and proves he's more than up to the task. His tear-jerking dramatic arc is the film's best asset, and Jaden Smith, who basically looks like a miniaturized version of his father, does a terrific job with his character Dre. Both Smith and Chan play their roles with a different dynamic than Macchio and Morita, which helps bond the audience to these new variants of the classic characters. And, to be honest, the film is best when it's doing its own thing. The story feels fresh even though the core plot elements remain the same. The exotic locale actually works too. Cinematographer Roger Pratt does an extraordinary job setting the right mood and taking advantage of all that China has to offer. While the film can occasionally look like one big tourism video for China, Pratt's work takes the surface story and heightens it to new levels. Even better is the fight choreography, which has a completely different flow from those in the original film. The fights here are downright brutal, akin to the battles in The Karate Kid Part 2. When Smith's Dre takes a hit, it looks like it really hurts. If there's just one problem, it's sadly that the camera work is often a little too tight, likely hiding stunt doubles and wire work. Still, when you see these characters fighting, it's more than a little engaging. This new version of The Karate Kid isn't better than the original, but it does its best to stand next to it. And it's certainly better than The Karate Kid Part 3 or The Next Karate Kid, or even many of Sony's more recent remakes. There are plenty of flaws of this new creation, to be sure, particularly in the film's mediocre first act, but the heartwarming moments and the terrific performances from Chan and Jaden Smith give this remake a serious boost. The Karate Kid might not be the best around, but nothing is going to keep it down. Entertainment value for The Karate Kid is an A-. Film value is a B-, and my final grade for The Karate Kid is a B. My recommendation? Families and fans should definitely check this one out. Adults will enjoy the new take of the original story, and a new generation of kids will fall in love with martial arts. Also, try and stick around through the end credits to see a nice montage of production stills and stills from the film, set to Justin Bieber and Jaden Smith's Never Say Never. While the new song doesn't quite hold a candle to the original classic songs of The Karate Kid and The Karate Kid Part 2, the photo montage is worth a look. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to see more reviews of theatrical features, high-def equipment, Blu-ray discs, DVDs, and more. And as always, thanks for listening.